Hello and welcome to another episode of the Doctoral Dialogues. I know this video is going to be long, but here is a 5 point summary to help you understand it. Atul, our guest, is the head of product at Wipro Linecraft AI, and he has following words of wisdom for you. Number one, US education, if defined in a single word, is freedom. Atul also has a very interesting story of getting an admission into a US university, which he was not at all destined to be in. So don't miss that out. Number two, Atul's successful career journey started with a single project. He says, whoever has the ability to turn the eyeballs gets the advantage. Otherwise, you're just another candidate. Number three, do not hesitate to ask questions. Atul actually thinks that it's a skill required to build a successful career. Number four, we need to have self discipline. Atul emphasizes that if we don't have self discipline, we have a lot of distractions. We often procrastinate, and our fear of missing out, FOMO, becomes worse. Number five, Atul thinks it's really sad that students do not take advantage of the alumni network. He emphasizes that networking is essential if you want to make progress. Even if I gave you a 5 point summary, I would encourage you to watch the entire video because the career story itself provides the motivation that cannot be summarized. So please stay till the end and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. This episode is again on the USA. Now, you will say, why so many episodes on the USA, America? But majority of the Indians that go out to study or to work, they prefer USA. So it's fair to have another guest from the USA to talk about masters there, to talk about the job scenario there. Today we have with us a very special guest, Atul. So let's welcome Atul to our show, and we are going to talk to him about a plethora of things, ranging from his masters in USA and product management, software product management. So let's welcome Atul to the show. Hello. Hi, Atul. How are you?
Hello, Kush. It's pleasure being here. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here because I did two episodes earlier on USA, but it's never enough to get this message out that people do prefer USA for some reason. What was your reason to go to USA to study and to work there?
Yeah, I think great question. I thought about that for quite a lot of times, but I'll try to think back into 2013, right after I graduated in 2010. So worked for 3 years and started thinking that I need to do more of research, and I aspired to do my PhD in manufacturing because I worked in software side of the things for manufacturers while in Cognizant and Siemens, but I understood that softwares are nothing if you don't fully understand a specific area. So my aspiration was actually to become a PhD in specific area that I developed my interest, which was product lifecycle management. So that's why US was not my first choice. I didn't know that US could have been one of the best choice. Earlier, I was trying to go in Singapore actually, but my application didn't get accepted there. But while understanding other colleagues or other friends who were in US and the opportunities it has, I decided to go to US.
Okay. So I've been talking to different people, and I understand that every country has some character to it. So you mentioned about Singapore. many of my friends who went to Singapore, they are kind of entrepreneurial in nature. So the PhDs there, I guess they promote some kind of this entrepreneurship spirit. How would you define US's education for masters?
I think is freedom. In single word, it's is the freedom and access to the industry. That was primary. Like I went to the east side of US, which was Michigan, because my interest was in automotive manufacturing and software as well. So it was kind of a great combination. So in single word is the freedom to kind of decide what you want to do, and also you get a good amount of support from the industry, where you can actually approach any company there, and you would likely to get an opportunity to work with them, irrespective of whether you have past experience or not.
Okay.
Okay.
So, if you take us through your journey from your graduation, you did your graduation in production engineering uh, from SGGS Nanded. Then you did some job, and then you moved to US for masters. So please take us through this journey, and at every step of the way, like how it helped you build your career over the years. Because many of the students now prefer going to US before having some experience. But
Yeah.
in your case, I suppose your experience in Cognizant helped you in some way, should have helped you in some way. So, talk us through this journey, how you approached your career path. How was it?
Great. So I think right after I graduated, I mean, it starts with second year of engineering. Um, uh, I mean, I never thought that I'll go to US or go abroad for further studies, because when I was in the zone of doing engineering, I was focused on engineering. But it all started with this one project in the college called Baha, which was to make an ATV vehicle. It was a competition held in Pithampur, Madhya Pradesh. And in second year, I was a junior, but I was trying to get into that project because I always loved practical aspects of things than theory. I was really bad at remembering things without really understanding them. So my interest towards automotive got developed there, but my exposure to the software started in third year when I actually became a leader, leading the team of 15 people building the vehicle. So then I learned 2D design, 3D design, build the design of the car, and then we were able to actually participate in the competition and won the prize. So that was a great learning for me through practical approach of how to use and apply the engineering. I had some effect on my grades, but I was still happy with it because I learned something. And based on that story, I was able to get in Cognizant, because to get a for production engineering guys to get into a software, it's not that easy, especially when you don't have a computer science background. So that story of building this unique car really started getting me applauds and get my first step into the industry. So my Cognizant placement was all thanks to the project that I did in second year and third year. So that's when I got exposure to automotive and software, and I thought this is something I want to continue doing because I loved that aspect. So I joined Cognizant. In Cognizant, I joined banking and financial sector, which is
Okay.
completely contrary to what I wanted to do.
Sure. So,
Um,
just
yeah.
a sub question there. I mean, talk about your interview process at Cognizant. I mean, were you into software? Like, did you study OOPS and C, C++, and whatnot? Uh, you mentioned that project was a big part of this interview process, but
Yes.
how necessary were these other skills for you?
Right. So I think competitive. So there was one quantitative and qualitative test, right? So I did good there because I had experience of giving these competitive exams in the past. So I was good at maths, but not at all good at like programming languages. Okay. But when companies hire fresher, what they look for, because everybody is kind of the same, right? So when you're interviewing 10 candidates, you have their CV, you have their grades, right? You might have one grade lower or higher. I don't have a way to judge and compare one candidate against another. So whoever have ability to roll the eyeballs, they get the attention. Otherwise, you are just one more candidate, right? And I always knew that the story of building this car will certainly capture the attention of the interviewers, because I was getting a feeling that they are not interested in my grade points. In fact, my grade points were not as good compared to all the toppers that we had at the time. So there was no upper hand for me than explaining what I truly learned and did. So yeah, I think, did that answer the question?
Yeah, yeah, sure. And then further down the journey, you did your masters. You said it all started with this project.
Yeah,
I cannot stress enough that projects, internships, uh, even courses to some extent are very important. So
yeah,
when you applied to US universities, I guess all these points were very important in showcasing or building your statement of purpose and then applying. So I guess that gave you an edge. Did it
absolutely.
give you an edge?
Yes, it did. It did. And I think you understood that correct, because I think if you don't seem like you know where you're going, and I don't expect everyone to know where they're going. But in my case, I don't know whether it's fortunate or whether it's my nature that I always questioned everything. Like the first website I ever opened in college internet was how stuff works, uh, how an IC engine works, how these IC kits that fits into a electronic circuit board. That was my way to learn, not from the textbooks. Honestly, textbooks did not help at all. Now, transitioning from that approach of being curious about things to working in Cognizant in banking, I had to fight for getting into a manufacturing side of the projects, where Cognizant used to deal with some of the clients in Germany who were doing some design and manufacturing projects. So I fought as a fresher within Cognizant to get me into another group. So that it took me 7 months to make that change happen, because I really wanted to go into that area and didn't want it to stay in banking. So that was a conscious choice that led me to Siemens. So right after I moved to the group, I learned some basics and moved into Siemens, which dealt with manufacturing. But while being in Siemens, I understood that now I know the software part, but I don't know manufacturing. I don't know much about the industry, how it's actually being used. That's when I started to think either I need to go in research, or I need to go for higher education where I can go into the actual industry and learn about how these softwares are actually used. So that was my trigger point to think that I can do more and not just stick to one software as a skill.
Okay. So I don't expect you to know where you are going. That's the headline that I got. But I mean, stress more on this point because your career path is an example of how careers can shift between different aspects of engineering. For example,
Yeah,
people always think, or students, freshers always think that it is difficult to switch between different technologies or different like you came from a mechanical or production background and you did build your career firsthand, got your hands dirty, and build it from scratch in software. So,
Yep.
what skills did you require to do this? I mean, apart from being very affirmative about what you wanted to do, even though you didn't know where you are going, but as you said that you were very clear as to what you wanted to do. So I guess that defines the path. Uh, so tell us more about these skills that you require to do this.
I think one is you need to seek help. Like, primarily, if you can't discuss, if you're confused, if you're not asking enough questions to the kind of people that you want to be like, right? So my network of more senior people than me has always helped me. I bothered so many alumni of ours, in understanding where their career path has been, where they started, and is this the right path I'm taking. I'm thinking to do this course to lead into this particular role. So is this the right thing to do? So what I would do is you figure out a person who is already in that role and try to understand from their point of view that, do you think this is something that will help me to enrich my skill set and land me into that role? So this is one part. One is never hesitate asking help. And there are numerous people who helped me in my path while deciding what I want to do. Okay. um, so this was one part. The second part was, now you know some parts of what you need to do, but sticking to it. So I used to work around from 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock in phase 2 in January, in my existing project. Then I used to travel from there to on to join this class until 10:30. We'll come back and then study whatever I learned, and next day wake up and again go back to the office while working on a different job. So all of that continued for almost 6 months, until I felt confident about this software that I was learning for the role that I was applying for. So until you have ability of going above and beyond, like if you say, I need my work life balance also, I need to go around my friends, do everything else, and also pursue this, it's not going to happen. Okay. So you need dedication, and ability to go above, extra mile, to kind of do what you want to do. And third is having a good understanding of what the market looks like outside. So when you go to company websites, you understand their portfolio, what kind of products they have, what kind of services they have. So if you don't have that mindset of doing research and understanding what that company does, it's very hard to kind of figure out whether you are a good fit or not. So these are, I think, two, three things I knew well, and develop over the time, use the internet for its best while being a fresher. I think that helped quite well.
Yeah, I guess internet has democratized many things. I mean, earlier knowledge was available in pockets, but now it is readily available at your fingertips.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, there is this fine balance between earlier we used to get information, but it was good information, I would say. Now there
Yeah.
is abundance of information, and students are often confused as to what they want to do. And I often talk to my guests about this fear of missing out. There are so many things to do today than, let's say, 5 years before. But now, how do you deal with this dilemma? Talk me, talk us through it about from a student's perspective, obviously, that how do you look at today's job market where there are so many different jobs available, so many different technologies available, and there is so much confusion also. So being bringing that clarity obviously will help, but how do you get that clarity?
So I think it depends on where you are. If you're a student, um, I think I think everybody nowadays have a habit of procrastinating about everything, including the content you look at and thinking about, oh, there are so many resources available, so which one I should go for. So there's a whole lot of confusion. My point is simple: start with something. It doesn't matter what it is, because when you zoom out and zoom into things, and especially when you have a zoom out view, eventually what you're doing today will be part of what you're doing tomorrow. It would come back in a certain way. Okay, that experience that you are getting in your first year of your job or internship, you will not basically at loss at any point in your life. So I think, if you know something well, if you like something, not necessarily everyone knows about it, but my point is people need to start with something, either by taking a guidance from someone and then stick to it for some time until you become good at it, or start doing it and start discovering, with a theory of left hand and right hand. Use your left hand to focus on what you're doing now, but keep exploring with the right hand, until you find what you're looking for. And there's no one shot or two shot or three shot thing. You might have to continuously be in a discovery mode as well. Um, so coming back to the distractions, I think, I mean, at that time, whether they were distractions or not, I think there were some level of distractions in that time as well. Just that you didn't have that fast internet speed access. We didn't have the shorts then. Insta was probably yet to born then. All of that. But I think it's the discipline. Like, if you are not disciplined enough, you will not do anything good. So anything that needs to be done need to have focus. So if that discipline is not developed in the initial years, it's a little bit difficult to figure out what you are trying to do and where you want to go. So it's hard to answer how to stay focused. It's a
Right.
self discipline attribute that one need to develop themselves. Otherwise, you're not going to be anywhere.
Okay, have friends but stay disciplined is the is the message, I guess.
Right.
Because
In-
having yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
you talked of importance of having friends, building networks, and so on. It becomes very important later in your career. As a fresher, you might not feel it as that important, but networking is very much important. And you talked about its importance in a way that you used to ask so many questions to your seniors and your friends and so on. And that is a way of learning, and very efficient way of learning,
Yes.
because someone is giving you their first-hand experience of things, and that sorts many things out for you. But then at the same time, you're saying that having that self-discipline is very, very important. What my observation is, like for us, people like us who come from middle class families, who come from, many students who come from small towns and so on, they often get overwhelmed with many things. There are cultural shocks, there are, I would say, academic shocks, and so many things you have to deal with when you go to your graduation or go to your masters, and uh, even your first job. uh, Being in US, was it a cultural shock for you? How did you sort of dealt with this change of being in India and then going to US?
Yeah. So I think, so. I would come to the cultural part a little bit later, but let me address the first point, which is the overwhelming part. Okay. I think it's not only applicable when you travel abroad. It's applicable when you even move to Pune. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
so right after doing bachelor's in Nanded, moving to Pune also was a shock to me. Like, I was never to Pune before, only
Sure.
for my engineering admission probably at the time, but after that never been to Pune also. Never been to a big company, never seen so many smart people. Okay, so you feel like you are one small dot in this
Mhm.
whole ocean of talent and all.
Right.
That creates that certainly creates a dip into the confidence, honestly, especially when you are not when you have a habit of staying in a lower side of group or smaller size of the group. So that was a shock for me. However, when I got into Cognizant, my first training was on advanced Java. Okay, and I failed in my first test. Everybody passed, and I was the only one who failed the test. Okay, so at that time, I knew that this is not something I want to continue. I'm not good at, and so that's
Mhm.
why I really worked hard to pass those exams so that I can pass through the training. But at the same time, I still continue searching outside Cognizant, inside Cognizant, reaching out to the alumni, reaching out to some of the people who have online profiles, papers, struggling through to get where I will feel confident. Okay,
Mhm.
so that was quite a journey, and I found some really good people who helped me in that journey when I told them really what's happening. It's not that I was not ready to put my efforts in learning advanced Java. In fact, I topped it after my training was ended in 3 months by just doing hard work, but I didn't enjoy it. So now coming back from that point, uh, now working in Cognizant for a good year, working in Siemens, really helped me to understand how they build the softwares and how companies use the software and benefit from it. But when I moved to US, I think it was a boost in confidence, which is contrary to what you say, because my
Okay.
level of confidence was already high while in India. Because
Mhm.
I found an area where I felt confident that I can make my career in this, and I have really good hands-on onto understanding a software, understanding the domain. So I'm able to connect people, process, and product, all that together, which was kind of aligned to how I used to learn things, by understanding why people do things, why people use softwares. So all of that kind of came together, and going to US when I started working, that was a boost in my confidence because the kind of skill set I brought into US was very appreciated. So this was about the work. About the education, it was a shocker. So I think right after I landed in US,
Mhm.
um, again I have many stories. I'll just tell a quick story first
Okay.
before we go to the cultural shock. Um, so initially, I got admitted in one of the university in Texas. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, and then I got my visa and everything done. I was ready to go to US.
So
But
this admit was for a software masters in software, right?
no, no, no,
Or
no.
was it? Okay.
It was in industrial and systems engineering.
Okay.
Okay. So the university in Texas offered me scholarship.
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, for a PhD program. Okay.
Mhm.
And I had a topic in my mind which got accepted. So it was in Houston area.
Mhm.
So while doing that, I was still not convinced about the university, by the way,
Okay.
because I had tried all my best to apply to all other universities, and this was the last university I wanted to go,
Mhm.
but got the acceptance from. But while doing that, the kind of work that I was doing in Siemens, I came across a paper, okay, from one of the professor in Oakland University, which is in Michigan. And that person happened to be working in Siemens at the time as one of the senior architects. So I reached out to them because I was still working in Siemens at the time during my notice period. So I pinged them and I said, you know what, I'm planning to come to US, and I read this paper and this is something I really want to do. It was about product lifecycle management, and I was really good at the Siemens softwares. Okay.
Mhm.
The coincidence was he said, I'm looking for an assistant to help me with my lab, for which I'm teaching a course. And
Mhm.
in fact, he was teaching the course in the same area that I was trying to do my research in. Okay.
Mhm.
So that clicked. My visa got approved, tickets were booked, everything was done. But it was, I think, in August is the fall admissions. But yeah, it was almost end of the August. Then so while I was traveling, I was still communicating with them, saying, I got this admit from this university, but if I want to come to your university, you guys need to offer me the scholarship as well, because I don't have that kind of money to spend, and I would really appreciate. I would help with the lab. I'll take care of all the research work that's needed, but you guys need to help me. So he connected with me with the department chair, and we got on a call. So they saw my SOP, my resume, my profile, and they were like, "This is amazing. I think we were looking for you for quite some time, and we
Wow.
finally found you." So it was a
Okay.
great coincidence. Now
Mhm.
the now I'll come to the shock part. Okay, so
Mhm.
admission was done, all my paperwork was done. I landed in Houston. Okay, I was going to visit university in 2 days. So I was with one of my friend, and I got the email that we are going to confirm your admission. You just need to call your university, ask them
Mhm.
to transfer your admission to ours. Okay.
Okay.
And I made that phone call,
Mhm.
told the university. So both the university coordinators coordinated. Next day, I had admit from the university. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so I did not go to the university I was supposed to go. Now I
Mhm.
had one day to decide to go to Michigan. Okay.
Mhm.
Where I didn't know any friends. I didn't know anybody that was from my network. So called one of the Facebook group. Um, dropped the message saying, "Guys, I'm coming to this university. Is there any place to stay?" So somebody
Okay.
replied. They were gracious enough to come pick me up at airport. Uh,
Mhm.
so that's why I went to Oakland University, where I was actually destined to go to another university. So that was
Mhm.
a shocker for me because, I mean, imagine the kind of system that is already there, which
Mhm.
doesn't make you go through the hell to just change your admission. Okay.
I mean, that's
Uh,
not a shock. That's wonderful. I mean, I was looking for that shock or surprise, but all I got
no, no,
was.
it is shock for me because it took me around 8 months of chasing to just get my transcripts. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
From where I graduated. Again, not talking bad about our university and colleges, but the
Mhm.
systems are very well established and built. Okay. So that was in a way a shocker for me. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, when I went to university, it was definitely another shocker, because I didn't expect that much good combination of theory and practicals. Okay.
Mhm.
The emphasis in the lectures were more on practicals than on theory. You had option of studying yourself, but your assignments has to be practically oriented and aligned. We have been asked to actually go to the local companies talk to the people in the companies and complete the assignments. So being in industry and system engineering, there was one assignment for Six Sigma, for which we were asked to, we were allowed to go to the local industry, and
Mhm.
all the contacts were already there. So that enablement was already there. You didn't have to discover. So that ecosystem was amazing, I would say. That kind of helped learn faster than just focusing on theoretical aspects.
But that's wonderful. I mean, you talked of freedom earlier. In one word, you described U.S. education as freedom, but this is something else. Like all those processes and systems being in place to give you a smooth, seamless experience. Uh, and I guess in further part of your journey, that's what you're trying to do as a product manager, I suppose,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
bringing out that seamless experience. We'll talk more about that, but let's talk more on US education. So how were the courses there? How was the academics? You talked of this practical aspect with the exams and all. How different are they from India?
I think they are completely different. Um, I would say I would not quantify into the level of difficulty, but I think the level of content. I think in Indian education is content heavy, but US education is concept heavy, meaning you have lot many elective options to choose from while you are selecting your coursework. There are mandatory, but the number of elective options you have is completely different. And the most of the time the electives are taught by somebody who is actually working in industry, coming to the university and teaching that with for let's say 2 credit courses. Okay, you had option of either taking a 4 credit course or take 2 courses of 2 credits, where you get vast amount of experience in different areas of your uh, liking, and you're not just bound by everything that's mandatory. So that's a significant difference in the coursework, how it is designed. In fact, later in the story, once I graduated from Oakland, I designed my own course, taught there for almost a year as adjunct faculty in the same
Okay.
area that I did my master's, which was product lifecycle management. So that was a 2 credit course that I had offered. And while doing that, I was working in Ford and then working in Siemens as well later on. So that you can do there. Now, I'm really what I'm doing in the industry. I'm able to get that to the people who are coming in the university, which is directly bringing the practical experience in the academia. I think that's very significant, and really appreciated that fact over there after going.
Right, right. With some new policies coming in, I guess in India, we now have this professor of practice kind of concept where the same thing, people from industry should be coming to academia and teaching. Uh, but we often talk of this industry academia gap. In India, it is very prominent, and
Yeah,
what happens is a person working in industry is often not able to uh, teach, right? So teaching is way different than working in
totally.
industry. But because you did both, I guess you understand that gap to some extent.
Yeah.
So tell us more about this, that from Indian perspective also and from US perspective also. Once you graduate, once you complete your course, uh, h- how much this employability factor affects your career? Uh, so, and how should students deal with this?
Yeah, so I think there are multiple ways to look at. it really depends what your background is, what your financial situation is, how dependent your family is on you. Do you have a good understanding of what the social status quo is? Are you trying to get married immediately right after getting a job? I think there are many factors that everyone kind of deals with and goes through right after you graduate. Um, my one single suggestion is, again, I'm not suggesting which kind of job or work that needs to be done, but uh, people must invest time and energy in trying to get into industry. Whether you do your small business or whether you join some company, but you must do that and not immediately followed by higher education. It just adding up more subjects to your curriculum and not helping you get anywhere. At least when you get into the industry, your level of confidence is much higher when you just do another education. Because if you find area, you would experience yourself that your energy level, your confidence level, your ability to think practically, and whatever the black blocks that you always used to think that what this industry means, how do I crack into the industry, that will go away. Okay, so if it's a small job also, it's fine. Even if it's paying 20,000, 15,000, it's okay to start with. You need to start somewhere. um, I think that fear of missing out, whether the jobs are available or not, um, I don't have a lot of statistical data on it. But what I believe is, if you have in it, there are places where you can ask for help. There are places where you can find the jobs. Study hard initially, where you can get into a good college where you have a good alumni network. My single question to all the students listening would be, let's say you are in third year and final year of your engineering or whatever degree you're doing. How many of you actually try to reach out to your alumni?
Mhm.
And you would find not many people do that when they have direct access to the alumni,
Sure.
right? And by just doing that, I can say a lot of people can benefit. In my right from I graduated from 10 to 24, I hardly was approached by probably 10 or 15 people from our college. That's very sad. Okay, because
True.
um, then you're not willing, you are just expecting that somebody will give you a job. You're expecting something good will happen right after you get the degree. Or this company will come on campus, interview you, and then give you that 50 lakhs package wala job. I think that's for dreamers.
Sure.
If you want to keep dreaming, that's not going to happen, especially in a highly competitive market. You need to stand out, figure out something, learn something new, and then stand out among all these resumes that are standing in front of these companies. So yeah, approach your alumni, bother them, and you will get either inspiration, either your first job in the company. You'll be surprised.
Yep, yep. And I guess that's what this series is about, bringing people on this channel, talking to them about their stories, making our audience aware of the fact that everyone has a different story and everyone can do it, everyone can get success, everyone can build a career. Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode till the end. If you have any suggestions, let me know through the comment box. Stay tuned for further episodes and also the part 2 of this discussion. Thank you.